The Chiefs and Eagles played last night in a Super Bowl rematch. This isn't really an instant reaction. It's like a delayed instant reaction. I went to bed right as that game ended last night. It's about 4 a.m. where I'm at in Phoenix, Arizona. So this game ended like 6 hours ago. So a delayed instant reaction, if you will. And just as I kind of thought the Eagles would win this game, they were underdogs in this game by 3 points. Took me a second to remember how many points they were underdogs. And every game for the Philadelphia Eagles looks exactly the same. That's the story of this game. That's the story of this season. They lose a bad game to the Jets. It's a burn the tape game. Everyone gets one burn the tape game. I told people not to overreact. Some of those picks, not really Jalen Hurts' fault. He's more of a gamer quarterback. He doesn't have all the hard skills you would love him to have. He's a little small. Doesn't have the best arm in terms of arm strength. It doesn't matter. This guy's just a worker bee. Doesn't care what it takes to win. It really just seems like Jalen Hurts, all he cares about is winning. And he didn't have a particularly good game last night. QBR, for those of you who care about that, 37. Passer rating, 64. 14 for 22, 150 yards. Nothing went the Eagles' way. Jalen Hurts was not dialed in. A.J. Brown, 3 receptions. Sorry, A.J. Brown, 1 reception for 8 yards. A complete non-factor, shut down by that Chiefs defense. And let's talk about that Chiefs defense. The Eagles, again, faced a steep mountain to climb. Chiefs defense is one of the best in the NFL. Gives up 283 yards a game. That's 5th best in the NFL. Excuse me, that's 4th best in the NFL. Allows 16.4 points per game. It's one of the ranks amongst some of the best in the NFL. The 3rd best scoring defense. The 4th best in yards allowed. The Chiefs defense has been dominant all year. It's what the Chiefs have mostly hanging their hat on. The Eagles had dug themselves a deep hole. Jalen Hurts wasn't playing well. Sacked 5 times. The offensive line was struggling against that elite Chiefs defense. We're not used to calling it elite because it usually never is, but now it is. Spags has those guys playing with their hair on fire. Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, George Karlaftis, obviously Chris Jones, Nick Bolton is there as well. It's actually a pretty star-studded Chiefs defense if you just look into the nuts and bolts of it. Nothing went their way. Run game was so-so, kind of abandoned at times, looked good towards the end. Jalen Hurts not good. Offensive line not good. A.J. Brown a complete non-factor. Devonta Smith without a long 41-yard completion to set up the push-tush was a complete non-factor as well. And that brings me to my next point. Situationally, Eagles are just more buttoned up than you. You cannot leave this team hanging around because if you do, you will lose. There's no team in the NFL that wins better ugly than the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no team in the NFL that is situationally better and more buttoned up than the Philadelphia Eagles. If you took just the first 3 quarters of this game and you went to bed, could have went to bed thinking, yeah, the Chiefs are going to win this game. It might be close. It's a Super Bowl rematch. There's a lot of feelings there. But the Chiefs won this game. It's just not what happens. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC. They're the team to beat. I've been pounding that drum all year long. Niners fans are not happy with me because I've been completely right about their team. To a lesser extent, they're still a really good team. But I said they'd take a step back, and they have. Of course, they beat Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so that means that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I digress there. There's no team better than the Philadelphia Eagles situationally. All things can go wrong, but it doesn't matter because in the last 6 to 7 to 8 minutes, all the way up to the full 4th quarter, they are buttoned up. They get situational stops. They get big-time catches. And they're just the best team in the NFC. And they should be the front runners to win the Super Bowl this year. In a crowded Super Bowl bubble, the Eagles have separated themselves from the rest of the league. That brings you over to another team. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs here. Situationally, the Chiefs have just been so-so this year, and it's not Patrick Mahomes' fault. Patrick Mahomes is not the reason that they lost this game. Patrick Mahomes, at one point, threw a ball cross-body to Jalen Watson. Let me make sure I'm getting the name. Justin Watson. I was right the first time. Dropped it in a bucket to where even Troy Aikman and Joe Buck said, whoa, that guy can really sling it. Patrick Mahomes is not the problem. Andy Reid is not the problem. Andy Reid continuously puts players in positions to succeed. The problem is they're just too Patrick Mahomes dependent. There is no player that can overcome as much as they're asking Patrick Mahomes to overcome offensively. Patrick Mahomes can put the ball in the breadbasket. But if you're just not going to catch it, I'm looking at you, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. What is Patrick Mahomes going to do? I said earlier in the year, although I was wrong, I said this looks like a 10-6 team. It's probably going to look more like a 14-3 team, a 13-4 team, maybe probably even less than that, probably 12-5. Somewhere around there is where the Chiefs will finish. So I thought they'd take a step back this year, which wasn't a hot take. I think a lot of people kind of thought that as well. But they're just not as good as they were last year. The receivers are just bad. Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropping a wide-open walk-in touchdown. Travis Kelce's looks to show his age just a little bit. Travis Kelce is still a top 3 tight end in the NFL, but he's probably not the best tight end in the NFL anymore. T.J. Hawkinson's looked really good this year. Mark Andrews, before going down with an injury, looked really good this year. He's probably in the top 3 conversation, but he's not the undisputed one anymore. Travis Kelce's 34 years old. We just forget how old he is because he's kind of a young, vibrant soul. He's dating Taylor Swift. He's very loud on podcasts. He's very fun on social media. He's a great interviewer. He's getting older. He was injured again last night for the 15th, 16th, 17th time this season. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're obviously Super Bowl contenders, but if you told me the Chiefs are the field, normally I'd take the Chiefs to win the AFC. But in a crowded AFC, the Chiefs just kind of look meh to me. Because in 2023, the Chiefs' defense is awesome. But in 2023, defense no longer wins championships anymore. So it doesn't matter how good the Chiefs' defense is. It's not going to stop Lamar Jackson and other quarterbacks in the AFC, or it's not going to stop a team in the Super Bowl with an elite quarterback. It's just not going to happen. They're going to bail themselves out and be able to tread water for a little bit because they might play Kenny Pickett in the first round of the playoffs. But when you see a Lamar Jackson, a Jalen Hurts again, a defense can't hold a team down forever. Patrick Mahomes is not the issue. They had 10 3-and-outs coming into this game. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, the wide receivers dropping balls, Travis Kelce showing his age, just doesn't look good for the Chiefs right now. I don't expect them to win the Super Bowl. I don't expect them to make it to the Super Bowl. Maybe they do. Maybe they pull a rabbit out of their hat. But Andy Reid continuously puts players in positions to succeed. But it just doesn't matter. Because if you're not catching the football, if you're not good situationally, if Jawan Taylor can't figure out how to stay before the ball gets snapped, this is going to be a continuous issue for the Chiefs. The Eagles look great. The Eagles situationally look awesome. The Chiefs do not. They have big-time players to make big-time plays. Patrick Mahomes can't throw the ball to himself. With that being said, I don't expect the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't expect the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl this year. The wide receivers are not going to be able to help Mahomes out like a Tyreek Hill used to do, like Mecole Hardman could do when he was the third wide receiver, like Travis Kelce could do in his heyday. This team has issues, and I'm not so sure they're solvable to be able to win a championship.